All right, are there any other questions about the issues?
I appreciate your listening.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Issue 17, wasn't a promise made to use that money only for the schools?
When the question was, with issue 17, wasn't there a promise made to use that money only for the schools? And, the initiative was passed to use the money for the schools. The voters approved that initiative, and that's why we're asking the voters to approve this initiative, because it's up to the voters. Just as it was up to the voters to pass the increase in the income tax in the first place to use for the schools, this is up to the voters as well. So this is not breaking a promise, this is asking folks if they think that this is a good way to use tax money. Now again, just to explain it, so it's 1/3 of the 1/4% income tax would go towards the safety forces. Of that, 50% would go to the police, 40% would go to fire and EMS, and 10% would go to snow removal. And that would be for 3 years only. It would be for 2011, 2012, and 2013. And after that, it would go back to all of it would be going back to the schools. In addition, we're adding 5 years on to the end of it because the projection is that there's not enough money in there for the schools now because of some additional things we did for the schools that weren't part of the state program. So the schools are going to need a little bit more money anyway. This is a way that we'd have funds to try to meet our critical needs in a time of a really bad economy when times are really tough. We can still meet your critical needs. We're not increasing your taxes at a time when you really can't afford to pay it. So, nobody's having anything more come out of their pocket right now, but 5 years down the road, 20 years down the road, you'll be paying that and increase 1/4% for the schools for 5 more years. So that's up to you to decide. It's up to the voters to decide. We're just asking the question if you think that's a good way to spend your tax money. Are there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Is all the money being generated in those first 3 years going to the police, fire, and snow removal, or is there extra money that's going to be put somewhere else?
No, the 1/3 of 1/4% would be going towards the safety forces, and that's it.
Okay.
The other 2/3 of that would still be going to the school fund, or technically to buy bonds, but then the income from those bonds goes to the schools.
Now, what about the existing budget?
What about the existing
for
budget?
police, fire, and snow removal? Are they going to cut that and be able to use that money for some other projects?
There's no plans to do that, no, sir, not that I'm aware of.
That was just like the lottery, is that supposed to be that way too?
Well, I didn't get to vote on the lottery, so I kind of defend that one way or another.
I foresee it happening as they get this influx of money. They say, "Oh, boy, well, let's just cut their budget by $500,000, and we'll take that and put it over here."
Yeah, I can understand the question, but this isn't an influx of money. We're not wallowing in the funds. We're trying really tough to get the services that you're all paying for, that you all want. We're trying really hard to provide them. So I understand the question, but that's not how this is not the lottery. By any means. Are there any more questions about the issues? Yes, sir.
Would that be an arbitration tool? In other words, if the voters approve it, then it would be automatic and not negotiable with the arbitrator and the inflation. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct. Yeah. What's happening with the? All right, I'll let Frank answer this one.
Yeah, the arbitrator, the fact finder, now the arbitrator can only go on the data that's been submitted already. This is for revenue for the next 3 years. It doesn't have anything to do with 2010. And that's what he's going to be making his decision on the data he